Collecting Magic the Gathering is something that is ever changing. Our strategies and how we engage with our favorite products and what we add into our binders is always different. And I thought this was a wonderful opportunity at the end of the year to go over how I'm going to be collecting Magic in 2024. I'm going to talk about how I'll be collecting old school Magic, sealed product, and yes, even though most people think it's impossible, I'm going to talk how I'm collecting modern Magic the Gathering cards. This is going to be a fun one. Let's get into it. To be upfront with everybody who watches this video and is not an avid viewer of the channel, you must know I'm not some sealed product investor that claims to know how to 10x your gains on cardboard. That's not my shtick. I collect Magic the Gathering because, well, I like it. I like Magic the Gathering, and if my stuff happens to go up in value, that's great. And if not, I'll either play with it or turn it over into something else in the future, but either way, I don't really follow the highs and lows of the value of the stuff on my shelf. That being said, that doesn't mean I don't like to really analyze how I spend my hard-earned money. As a constant message in our community over the last year to year and a half, not every single product is for you. I have chose to embrace that lifestyle and truly analyze how I spend my dollar on Magic the Gathering to make it feel like it goes farther for me personally. And to be fair, I think it's done pretty well. I've built quite the Magic the Gathering collection that I love to see every day, and I'm really happy. But as I mentioned, Magic the Gathering is an ever-changing collectible. Wizards of the Coast is always looking for the next big thing and shifting things out from under our feet. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about going into 2024, how I will be collecting Magic the Gathering. And yes, we are going to talk about all aspects of collecting and how I will be doing them in this year. Now, I can't believe I still have to say this on YouTube, but obviously, none of this is financial advice. If you're here for financial advice, I'll maybe put a link to another channel that can offer you good financial advice. Anyway, this is not it. But I want to start with the Magic cards that have been around for the longest time. We're going to start with old school Magic the Gathering, and that doesn't just mean the reserve list. I promise we'll talk about that too. But old school Magic is something that I have found to be a lot of fun for me to collect. And as Wizards of the Coast and the reprint machine just go burr and everything goes crazy, it's actually become a little bit easier to collect. Now, not everything has come down massively in price, but I gotta tell you, one of the proudest things that I own in my collection is actually nowhere near the most valuable, but I own an original set of foil opts. The card Opt is something that I like. I like to play it in a couple Pioneer decks. They're actually sleeved up in a Pioneer Wizards Weird Brew. Shout out Aspiring Spike for that one way back like 6 months ago. But that is one of the coolest things that I own. The blues are just so vibrant. I love the way the card looks. And while it's not something that has any reprint protection, it's a wonderful card, and it's kind of an older school card that I really enjoy. But I look to expand on that, and I think this year might be the first year that I look to maybe build my mana bases out of some old school land cards. Now, through the trials and tribulations of Magic the Gathering's ups, downs, and all arounds, and while we have seen Wizards of the Coast take our favorite card game in a direction where every set has fancy, crazy lands, and every box opening you see on this channel has these amazing lands that I gush about, I have never really taken the opportunity to build a bunch of like old school lands as a collection and use them in decks. I think this might be the first year I do that. And just a kind of an aside, the furthest I've gone back and really built a collection is I think the very first unset. I bought a bunch of those lands. I have a ton of them just around here, and I use those in decks from time to time, but I think I might venture back a little bit. And the reason that this is meaningful to me, and the lesson that can be learned from collecting here, is the idea that collectibles don't have to be something that are crazy high in value or go up on the charts or are going to show up on MTG stocks at the top of some graph. It can be something that you think would just be cool to have around, get use out of, and every time it comes up or you see it, brings you a bit of joy. That is about spending that dollar in an effective way, in my opinion. And I think old school lands would be a really cool opportunity to do that. I mean, look, mana bases come and go all the time. You always have lands in your decks in your hands. It's just something that has the opportunity to always make you smile. So I think I'm going to look towards those lands, but it's not going to stop there. This is the big one. If you're here for this, kind of reveal, let me know. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. If you never shared a Hometown TCG video, now's your opportunity to go and share this video, because I think this is the year that I aim to add a Black Lotus to my collection. I'm not saying that from some position of power. Those who know the YouTube ecosystem, this channel does not Well, it doesn't even pay for itself at this point. So it's not like, oh yes, I'm going to use all the YouTube riches to buy the Black Lotus. No, I think I'm going to look to turn over some cards that I covet and things that I like to collect, and maybe start to, trade some of my collection in a direction that gets me closer to adding a Black Lotus to my collection. So if you see this background start to change, you'll know why. I really think after being this long on, on YouTube and into Magic for the better part of 20 years, it's about time I set my sights on that. And if you think I can do it, if you think it's something I can achieve, let me know in the comment section below. And outside of Black Lotus and high-end reserve listings, for people looking to kind of fulfill that joy of collecting, I will always say every old school dual land that I've added to my collection has always brought me joy. It's always found a position to be played. And if you haven't, go on TCG Player, look at some crazy cheap reserve list cards, and just buy like 10 of them, and just put them in, start your pseudo reserve list binder. It's a lot of fun, but it doesn't have to be old school Magic the Gathering that can be collected. You hear so much about the idea of sealed product collecting and sealed product investing, and boom, we're going to the moon and all that. And if you would look at my background, or between this background and the other background for the other shooting area, you would assume that I'm a sealed product investor, bro. But no, these are just boxes that I like, most of which are draft boxes, because I plan one day, if I don't sell them, probably for exactly what I paid for them, I will crack them open with my friends, we will play some Magic, and frankly, it'll be a darn good time. But when it comes to 2024, I think I'm going to have a wonderful year of sealed product collecting. I think there's a really good opportunity to build some cool and versatile collections. Now, in 2023 and in previous years, going way back since the set booster's inception, the question was always, do I buy the draft booster box? So it has the versatility of, if I don't sell it, if it's something I'm not proud of anymore, I can play Magic the Gathering with it. Or do I buy the set booster box because we think the value of cracking packs is going to be something our community covets, and it's going to be something to be more proud of and maybe even more valuable on the shelf? Well, in 2024 with Murders of Karlov Manor, we're getting the Play Booster Box. And this might be a wonderful opportunity, not only to bring us closer together around fewer products, as we will just have the Collector Booster Box and the Play Booster Box, but it represents an area of collectability that is also scratching that versatility itch that I always kind of chase when I'm collecting Magic stuff. And it's a box that, yes, if it's a fun set, if I fall in love with it, I can have it on my shelf. It's something that can really mean a lot to me and maybe to the rest of the community. And yes, for anyone here for the finance, maybe even go up a couple bucks in value. But if not, it's a single box that I can look to add to my collection that one day I can just play Magic with my friends. Having your product have that backup plan, being like, hey, if it all falls down and everything just goes crazy and nobody wants Magic anymore and you can't trade this, you're no longer happy to see it anymore, well, guess what? You can still play Magic the Gathering with it. But there's a dark horse and a flip side to this, if you will. I believe, and everyone, if you're here right now, get them out, put those tinfoil hats on. I believe that Wizards of the Coast have made strides in 2023, and again, make sure you're subscribed so this video comes out later this month, in improving Magic the Gathering, and I think they have made massive improvements in the amount of product that they're printing and how they're printing that product. And especially I expect that to continue with the Collector Booster Box. So with Murders of Karlov Manor and the Play Booster Box hitting the ground, and maybe even as a treat, as a preview in Ravnica Remastered. Now, this is so speculative, because like, who would think they'd underprint anything in Ravnica Remastered after Dominaria Remastered this last year? Well, listen, I'm going on a limb here a little bit, but if those collector boxes are at all coveted and hard to come by, and have the serialized cards, which means they have that bit of reprint protection, I think we could see a year and a direction where Wizards of the Coast is gathering all of our community around the Play Booster and offering collector boosters as true exclusives, as true, hard to come by things in our community, which means if we can lower the number of variants, get the print run trimmed down a little bit, those might be extremely coveted. Now, that was all speculation for 2024. I know you're already in the comment section screaming at me about that. Wizards of the Coast has never underprinted anything, but hey, if you don't believe Wizards of the Coast has toned down their printing throughout 2023, well, hey, you're not following the same information I am, and we can agree to disagree. But when it comes to the biggest disagreement we're going to have in the way I believe you can collect Magic now more than ever, it's going to be, well, I guess the topic's going to be modern Magic the Gathering. And the statement's always, you cannot collect modern Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast reprints everything. It's all going to the dirt. It's worthless. WotC is evil. Well, we just saw a banning where Fury went from like $43 to $15 because of a banning, and you know, all of these cards are constantly reprinted and tanking in value, and there might be some truth to that. But on the other side of that argument is the idea of serialized cards and hard to come by chase variants in some of these products. Everyone knows my feelings on serialized cards. Let's get this out of the way. And I think the Brothers War serialized card, something that I'm constantly looking to buy and constantly buying, is just criminally undervalued. If Magic lasts through the test of time, which, oh, spoiler alert, it did, the first set where serialized cards were ever publicly available is going to be, like, we're not going to get into that right now. I love Brothers War serialized cards. It's something I'm going to continue to collect. But further than that, further than just like, hey, it's got a stamped number on it, there's a limited number, it's collectible. Further than that is the idea that we've seen with Lost Caverns of Ixalan and Wilds of Eldraine, the most expensive cards, the hardest to get cards in the set, are still commanding a crazy price on the secondary market. And why is that? Not only are they coveted cards that people want to play and stuff we love slamming down on the table, but they're also really hard to come by. These sets are doing an amazing job of making these cards rare. They're not one in every pack for the confetti foilers or the Jurassic Park emblem cards. Heck, you open collector boosters, sealed collector booster boxes, and you don't get a single one. These cards are true chase cards, and Wizards of the Coast have really leaned into the idea of this true chase card again, and it does seem like going forward this is going to be collectible. So I look to try to identify some of these chase cards early on in 2024, and if anything jumps off the page like the Jurassic Park cards do for me, I'm going to look to maybe build a collection around that in 2024 to memorialize a time when, well, things felt a little bit rarer. But I think that Magic is such a verbose game and is so collectible, even in today's day and age of wild reprints. There's so many cool opportunities to build Magic the Gathering collections to be proud of, and whether you agree or disagree, I think it's important to say that I believe in Magic the Gathering collecting. I believe it's important, and whether you think it's in a good spot or bad spot, it must be a positive thing for our game to thrive. It must be something that people have the option to do. So if Wizards doesn't make Magic collectible, well, I think we're all in a bit of trouble. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I think that's what I'm going to look to do in 2024. I hope you guys have had some fun today. If you haven't, again, like I said, share this video. And if you want to support Above and Beyond and get in on some discounts for some box openings, those who have noticed, we've started offering box openings to channel members on the channel. Make sure you sign up for the channel membership now. I believe we will have a limited number of Ravnica Remastered booster boxes, collector booster boxes, to open and sell on the channel, and we will do that in Indie TCGs, and Murders of Karlov Mana will be the big Magic release. So make sure you check out that channel membership. You get bonus content, you get custom emotes, channel badges, things like that. It's a lot of fun. So thanks so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and well, we will see you around. All right, goodbye.